Okay, here's a little video tour of my first year attempt at growing vertically. Growing up, not out. First thing we did was start with the barrels. We made all these little slots in it. Have a little jig made that makes it easier to make those. Still takes about 3 hours a barrel. This one's got a variety in it, from a few snow peas to some lettuce. And then of course all the melons and pumpkins are in this one. That's the big leaf. They're all doing pretty good. Then we go to our potato boxes. The potato boxes, growing vertically, these are 3x3. They claim in a 2x2 that it'll produce 100 pounds of potatoes in one box. You plant the potatoes in the bottom, and as the plants grow, you keep adding dirt and then add more boards. And over the course of the summer, you should fill this pretty well up to the top. And then come late fall, you can start harvesting from the bottom. If you pull the bottom board off, you'll just reach in and pull out the potatoes. What I intend to do is harvest the entire box in fall. And the bigger potatoes in the bottom will go in the root cellar. And the newer, smaller potatoes up top, why, I'll can those so that those will be ready to go. The raised bed I have here, this side here on the left is where I keep and make and mix my dirt that I'll keep adding to the potatoes. And then the other side, I have carrots and radishes started, and every couple of weeks I'll have a new planting, so eventually I have a whole box and those will keep producing. And another potato box. Now these potato boxes, if they do what they're supposed to, I should get somewhere around 250 to 300 pounds of potatoes out of 2 boxes. It's easier to water, easier to weed, certainly easier to harvest than digging them out of this clay soil. And another barrel. These are my strawberries, and I've got berries on quite a few of them. They got hit pretty hard with the hail and then with the freeze, but as you can see, I've got some berries coming on them. So we'll see how they do. Go from there. These next 2 barrels, I put a pole up and strings down. You can see these are green beans, and they're starting to climb the strings now. They'll grow all the way to the top. And again, very little weeding, easy watering. It takes me about 20 minutes each morning to water this stuff before I go to work. And these will climb all the way up the top and then start back down. And each barrel has 72 slots. So in 2 barrels, that's 144 bean plants. Should be a pretty good crop of green beans. We hope it works. And the last barrel over here, I have cucumbers, zucchini, and yellow squash, and a little lettuce mixed in here and there. And again, they'll be vining, should be vining up the top, and produce pretty well. I'm pretty stuck on this barrel idea. I made some mistakes with it, but we're learning. In my tubes, I got peppers, and I've got tomatoes, and I got one that's not planted or filled yet. I get a little blossom here and there on my tomatoes, and these tubes are filled pretty much with dirt and a heavy mix of straw, chicken manure, and some mulch, and so on and so forth, so that it's extremely fertile in there. This, of course, is my asparagus patch. No, that's not what asparagus is supposed to look like. Asparagus takes 3 years to establish the bed, and you're not supposed to harvest any the first year and harvest only sparingly the second year. And because of the hail and the freeze and everything, they kind of took a beating, so I'm not harvesting any. I'm just letting them all go like this. But normally you'd cut these when they first sprout, and that's your fresh, tender asparagus. But all in all, it's doing okay. I'm pretty well convinced the barrels are going to work just fine, that I'll add some more next year, I think. But this potato deal, I'm really stuck on this. Now, I planted just 12 potatoes in the bottom of each box when I started, and I planted them right at about ground level. And when they grew up now, I've filled them with dirt to the top of the first board, and now they're growing up, and it won't be too long until I need to add another board around the top there and then fill it with dirt, and eventually it'll work itself all the way up. I should have this completely closed and filled by the end of summer, and well, before the end of summer, because then by fall we should be ready to harvest. But I'm pretty tickled with it all the way around. So that's that part of the garden. Now the main part of the garden needs rototilled, something fierce, but my tiller's broke. I've got parts ordered. But you can see the cabbage and the broccoli and cauliflower, and even the head lettuce is coming back after it got shredded in the hailstorm. It's kind of hard to tell, but my corn's doing pretty good until I get the weeds out. Parts for the tiller won't be until next week. But I've got to get this tilled, get these weeds out of here. But that's it in a nutshell. And we're going to do another video and give you a little tour of the homestead. But this vertical gardening is the only way to go. Alrighty, later.